the pig mouse. Start your hook in the vise. Start your thread right above the point, then wrap about halfway down the bend. Wrap back up to just above the point. Tie in some holographic tinsel, tie it all the way down the bend, and start wrapping back up until it's met with the thread. Then once it touches the thread, go ahead and wrap it off and cut the excess off. Then measure a tuft of marabou about 1/2 times the hook shank in length. Square off the tail by pinching the fibers with your offhand and pulling all the undesirable fibers that stick out in abnormal length. Then grab your curly tail, tie it in right at the square end so it sticks out and curls around without getting stuck on the hook bend. Then grab 2 more tufts of marabou. Measure them the same distance and square out the fibers at the end, just like before. Cut it off, secure everything, and go ahead and whip finish your thread. For spinning the deer hair, we will switch to heavier threads. Go ahead and start your thread right on the bump where you ended your last thread, and coat it with Sally Hansen's, just to make sure that it doesn't slip out. Stack a clump of deer hair about 2 pencils in width, in this case pink. Cut the butt end square off and tie it directly on top of the hook. Then, with another amount about half the width of the first one, tie it in a lighter color, in this case yellow. The tips extending past the bend should meet about halfway into the marabou tufts. You want the tips facing towards the bend. Then invert your hook and tie in about a clump of white, about the size of the pink. Bring your thread in front of all those and continue with the pattern. Add pink, but this time don't add yellow, as there will be a pattern of yellow, pink, yellow, pink, yellow, pink. And tie in the white and bring your thread forward. And now we do the pink and then the yellow. Keeping the same sizes and amounts of deer hair as we go up towards the eye of the hook. It is more time consuming to add more colors. This fly in time would probably be docked about 3 minutes if it was all one color, because then you could just spin it around. But since we're adding 2 colors, we have to, we can't spin it, we have to stack it. Then once you get about 3 pieces of the body in, push the hair back with a hair packer. Bring your thread in front, and keep going with the pattern. Pink, and then yellow. And white. Once you get pretty close to the eye, push the deer hair back with every time you add an amount of deer hair. Add 1 more clump of deer hair. You should end with a yellow piece. You should have 3 yellow spots on the back of your fly. You just have to make the deer hair sizes proportional to your size of the hook. So in this case, a size 2, I'd add 2 pencil width. But if it was a size 4, maybe only 1 1/2 pencil width. Then, once that clump is added, tie in 2 ears on either side of the hook. I just cut a teardrop shape out of foam. Then, once those are good, go ahead and add another clump of deer hair in front of the ears, right on top of the hook. Now, instead of doing white on the bottom, secure another pink clump of deer hair. This will represent the head. Then push it back a little bit to make room for your thread in a whip finish. Then go ahead, while you push the deer hair back, go ahead and whip finish. You can use a half hitch here if it's too difficult. Now, with our razor blade, invert your hook and make a square cut, exposing the gap of the hook and leaving a flat belly, making sure not to cut the tail in the process. Then, just kind of shape the carapace of the fly. No need to get super detailed with the razor. Now with scissors, go ahead and cut all the little fibers that may be sticking out from the razor. Taper the head down to the eye. Use the eye as a guide. Set your scissors on the eye, and with that angle, cut up towards the ears, making sure not to snip the foam. Then once you get a nice tapered kind of bullet-like head, move to the back end. Use the ears as guide. Place the axis of the scissors on the ear and face it down towards the tail. And then make one cut and then follow that angle all around the body of the fly. You should be left with a kind of body that tapers up, stops at the ears, and then tapers down to the hook eye. Then once the cutting is done, cover the head in Sally Hansen's and also the bottom to help it float right, and that's the fly.